They also kind of have a history of hosting some of the most brutal gulags in all of Russian history. But hey, the forests are nice. They have their own food and they have their own trees.
Hey everybody, welcome to DaniilProduction channel Nam to Sunauka. My name is Daniel and this is my mom Yana.
Hello.
Hell?
Hello.
Hello, okay. We reacted to Geography Now Russia, we reacted to Geography Now India and the states and territories of India and flag of India from this funny channel Geography Now.
A lot of reaction from...
Yes, this channel already. And
Здесь он меня перебивает, ладно. Мне слова не дает ставить.
Okay, say something.
Давай, продолжай.
And you recommended us to react to Russian republics explained geography now. So, are you excited?
Yes.
Let's learn about well-known information for us. Maybe not, maybe it will be some surprise as it was in the previous reaction about Geography Now Russia full version. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done this yet, put thumbs up, write comments, share this video with your friends, don't forget about notification bell, and let's enjoy it.
Hey everybody, so as you know, we're working on the next 3 episodes, so that means this is a filler week. This one is actually brought to you by a new sponsor, Squarespace. Yeah, you've probably heard of them. They've actually reached out and they want to help us out, so thank you, Squarespace. We'll talk about them more later. So as you know, last time I did the states of India, and I asked you guys what country would you like me to do administrative divisions next, and a lot of you said Russia. The problem is the Russian Federation is broken down into 85 federal subjects into 5 different categories. We don't really have a lot of time for 85 anything on geography now. However, we do have enough time to cover one of the categories, the republics of Russia. For those of you that don't know much about Russia, it is actually a very diverse country with lots of different types of people living in it, not just Russians. The republics are kind of like the non-Russian ethnic enclaves that have their own level of administration. These subjects have the right to establish their own language and constitution. The other subjects don't have these rights. Today there are 22 of them, and I will try my best to explain. Here we go. The first one, Adygea, capital Maykop. Minority group represented, the Adygea people. They are one of the 12 Circassian tribes, and they are one of the 3 federal subjects that have Circassian people as their minority. They even use the Circassian flag as their republic flag. Culturally, they are mountain folk. They have a series of traditions and customs. They love playing music with those shishipin violins that look like daggers. They have these really interesting traditional dances where they like go on their toes.
The first surprise.
They have these halush deep-fried pastries with cheese in them. Ooh. There's a lot of ancient traditions. They have these tablestone house things. Nobody quite knows exactly what they are. Some say that they're tombs. Under tradition, a groom is never supposed to meet his bride's parents. Insert offensive joke here. The Altai Republic. Capital, Gorno-Altaisk. Minority group represented, the Altai, whom are a Turkic group. The Altai people come from 10 different clans. UNESCO heritage sites that can be found here. The Ukuk Plateau has these interesting stone structures that are believed to be burial sites, but some people say that they're like magnetic instruments that direct the cosmic energy of the universe. Yeah, there's a lot of new age tourism in this area. It's also the place where they found the Siberian ice maiden, the mummy that was preserved in permafrost. Bashkortostan. Capital is Ufa. Minority group represented, the Bashkirs. This is the most populated republic out of all the republics. It was the first ethnic autonomous area established in 1917. They come from the Ural Mountains, and their flag even has the Kurai flower. It has 7 petals representing the 7 families that gave birth to the Bashkir peoples. Music is huge here. They make woodwind flutes by chopping up reeds from the Kurai plant. The capital city has a huge monument dedicated to this guy. He's like considered their hero. Further out east, Buryatia. Capital, Buryatia. Ethnic minority represented by about 30% of the population. The Buryats. They are a Mongolic people group who are actually related to the Mongols and the Kalmyks. This republic is right next to Lake Baikal, Russia's largest and deepest lake in the world. Because of that, they're not allowed to really industrialize their area because they don't want to pollute the lake. It's so
huge lake.
It's very interesting because they kind of like fuse Buddhism with shamanism. They have unique traditions like bone fortune telling. They also have great hot springs. Supposedly the waters can heal you from like anything and everything. The next one you may have heard in the news a few times. Chechnya, capital Grozny. Obviously the minority group represented are the Chechen people at about 95%, and they are the lowest alcohol drinking region of Russia. partially because of the Islam thing.
Muslims,
Basically, when
yes.
Russia came
A lot
in,
of
Stalin
Muslims.
got suspicious
They
and
drink
exiled
that.
a lot of them to Kazakhstan, and then he brought them back, and then in the 90s they tried to declare independence, but then Russia was like, nope. And that's where the subsequent Chechen wars began. There was a series of separatist movements and terrorist attacks, and to this day, it's kind of died down, but the separatist activity still kind of lingers. It's like it could ignite if someone pushes the buttons, but right now it's kind of like at a standstill. I mean, the people just want to live their lives like normal. Otherwise, though, they actually have very beautiful scenery. I mean, if you're one of those like controversy region tourists,
Khakassia is
then
very
this
beautiful place.
you might want to put this on your bucket list. Chuvashia, capital Cheboksary, minority group represented at about 2/3 of the population. The Chuvash, known as the Silver People. Chuvash people are kind of like the strange outcast cousins of the Turkic groups because their language is the most isolated and kind of difficult for the other ones to understand. It's kind of like the Icelandic of Turkic languages. But if there's one thing this place is famous for, it has to be beer. Everybody knows Chuvashia makes beer. Many households brew their own version and they add their own little secret ingredients. They have all these nice little happy songs and dances that go with it. Next one, get ready because this has a lot of controversy. If you're Ukrainian, you're not going to like hearing this, but I kind of have to cover it. Crimea, capital Simferopol, which is also a federal city. Represented minority group being the Crimean Tatars.
Yes, very beautiful place, by the way.
12% of the population. They used to be the majority, but then again, in former USSR times, they were exiled to Uzbekistan, and then some of them were allowed to come back. However, today, the majority of the population is Russian. This is the largest dispute area with Russia and Ukraine today. Basically, this whole area used to be under complete Ukrainian authority, but then in 2014, a bunch of pro-Russian separatists and the Russian military got involved, and they issued a takeover. Most countries across the world do not recognize this as a part of Russia, but it kind of
it's
operates
Russia.
as Russian authority today. It's really confusing. Also, it's kind of like a very geographically dislocation, as it kind of gives access to the Black Sea and then further to the Mediterranean. But yeah, hotbed of dispute. Oh, and there's ancient Greek sites over here as well.
Kherson is very beautiful place.
Dagestan, the gateway to the Caucasus. Capital, Makhachkala. The minority group represented, there's actually not a single one, but it's kind of like 10 main minority groups. The largest ones being the Caucasian groups, the Avars, Dargins, and there's also the Turkic, Kumiks, and Azerbaijanis. Overall, over 100 nationalities and over 30 languages are spoken in this area. It is the most racially diverse region in all of Russia. About 80% of the population identifies as Muslim. The land has lots of beautiful mountains and forests and fortresses. If you come here, chances are you will definitely find a burqa overcoat, not burqa, burqa. The people here love to dance with daggers. Recently, just like in Chechnya in 2008 and 2012, there was kind of like a wave of guerrilla warfare that was going on. The Russian government got involved. It got kind of messy. But yeah, it's interesting because there's like so many different people groups and it's just, they all have their own little story here. Ingushetia, the smallest of all the federal subjects in Russia. Capital, Magas. Minority group represented being the Ingush. They are like the little brother of the Chechens and they speak almost the same language and the majority of them are Muslim. Back in World War II times, Stalin deported a lot of them to Kazakhstan, and then when they were allowed to come back, they realized a lot of the Ossetian people took over what they claimed to be their land, and there was a lot of internal conflict. Culturally today, a lot of them don't really quite know the extent of their history, since a lot of it depended on oral tradition and songs. And just a heads up, this is probably one of the most poorest regions of all of Russia, and if you go, there will be a lot of security checkpoints. If you're a man, it's not really recommended that you grow a beard, because you might be mistaken for an Ingush rebel. I mean, you guys have seen me with facial hair, so I think I'll be good. Kabardino-Balkaria, capital Nalchik. Two main groups populated this area at about 70%. Kabarde, who are Circassians, just like the other ones we talked about, and the Balkars, whom are Kipchak Turkic. Out of all the 12 Circassian tribes, the Kabarde are the largest ones. And even though the majority of them identify as Muslim, there's still like about 12% that still kind of practice the traditional Habze faith. It involves a lot of nature stuff.
A lot of Muslims in Russian
the
Republic.
Tallest peak in all of Russia and Europe. People here are also known for being quite athletic. This guy won the first gold for Russia in the Rio Olympics. Kalmykia, capital Elista, minority group represented the Kalmyks, who make up about 60% of the population. This is probably the strangest demographic anomaly in all of Russia. Why? Because Kalmyks are the westernmost Buddhist community in the entire world, and they are the only region in all of Europe in which Buddhism is the majority religion. Today you can see traditional Buddhist temples all over the capital Elista.
I thought some in
their ancestors, the Oirats, migrated from Central Asia to find better land, or maybe they tried to escape from the Mongol tribes. Nobody really quite knows. But the point is, they came here and brought Buddhism. Historically, the Russians made a lot of deals with them, and then they deported them, and then they brought them back, and today it looks really Buddhist-y Russian. Karachay-Cherkessia, capital, Cherkess. Just like Kabardino-Balkaria, they have two main groups, the Turkic Karachay peoples and the Circassian Cherkesk peoples. Just like Kabardino-Balkaria, a portion of the population here still actually kind of maintains the ancient Circassian religions. The people here love horse riding. There's also like a rite of passage for like boys to becoming men when they're 9 years old. Like they have to get a whip from their father or grandfather and ride the horse with that whip. Karelia, capital.
Oh, Karelia. I don't want to go there. I don't like this area.
Because of climate.
Because of
The Karelians
climate.
are some of the last
Karelia wasn't
Uralic
Karelia.
peoples on the planet.
Валам
They are
в
the
Карелии
cousins
находится?
of Finnish
Не,
They
this
speak a
place.
language that is very
A lot
similar.
of
Some people say it's
mosquitoes.
just a dialect of
Huge mosquitoes in
Unfortunately,
Karelia.
unless a revival happens, the future of the Karelian language and culture is looking kind of bleak and it's kind of dying out. And even though this is the Russian Federation flag, the Karelian people have their own Karelian flag, which looks like this. And they're known for making these really cool like egg pie. It's called Karelian pie, but it's like a pastry. It's really good. It's really good. Khakassia, capital Abakan, minority group represented. The Khakas. Most scholars agree that they are most likely related to the Kyrgyz people in Kyrgyzstan. The cool thing though is that this place was kind of like the crossroads where a lot of people passed through in ancient times. So it's kind of labeled as Siberia's archaeological mecca. There's so many ancient sites found here. You have things like stones and obelisks, ruined cities, forts, and rock drawings. And they have that 7-story tall burial mound. The Komi Republic, capital
Komi,
Syktyvkar. I don't even know.
the big
Syktyvkar.
About a
Komi?
quarter of the population. Komi is like the
Yakutia.
Ural Mountain
Komi,
capital.
yes.
It offers
But-
some of the best
no,
tourism for the
Sakha,
dividing
sorry.
range.
It's
They have the
another.
Virgin Komi Forest, a UNESCO heritage site, and this national park, which is beautiful. They also kind of have a history of hosting some of the most brutal gulags in all of Russian history. But the forests are nice. They have their own food and they have their own traditions based off of pre-Christian shamanism, and they still kind of keep those traditions alive a little bit. The Mari El Republic, capital
Mari El.
Bashkortostan.
Very strange name. Mariel.
Mariel, not
Territory,
Russian,
Mari
absolutely.
people are kind of
Yes.
called like Europe's
But it's
last pagans.
very
These people
interesting.
actually do keep a lot of the pre-Christian
Mariel.
pagan traditions alive. It's kind of like what Russia used to look like before Christianity came in. Half of all the women know how to play the gusli. A lot of times they have an all-Mari prayer service in which the entire community comes together. They bring a lot of food. They sacrifice the bones, skin, and organs of an animal to the fire. Mordovia, capital Saransk, minority group represented. The
Saransk.
Mordvin. Here's the thing, the land here is pretty flat, but they still love like cross-country skiing. These people are really big on wood carving and they are really good at it. It's not uncommon to see a lot of traditional Mordvin houses that look like log cabins. It's like they sand the wood very nice and well. And they
In
also
Russian,
have
избушка.
puppet theater in all of Russia.
Maybe.
North Ossetia Alania, capital Vladikavkaz,
Северная
minority
Осетия,
group, the Ossetians, and they are the only Iranian people group that have their own republic in Russia, as in they're descended from people from Iran. But the thing is, the majority of them are Christian.
Iran?
Anyway, it was also historically part of the Silk
Close.
Road, and the people here made a lot of money back in the day. Today it has lots of
Silk
minerals and
Road.
spa resorts. But then there's the controversy with South Ossetia. We talked about this in the
Южная
Georgia
Осетия.
episode. Internationally recognized as part of Georgia, however, administratively it kind of falls under Russian jurisdiction since 2008, after the Russo-Georgian War. In order to get in from the Georgia side, you actually need a passport. Next one, Yakutia, or
Wow,
the
this
Sakha
is
Republic, minority
the
group represented.
biggest,
The Yakut. This is
region.
a very unique spot in Russia. They are like
Yes.
the most East Asian-looking people in Russia. They hold fast to their traditions. They have a
It's
lot
like
of their
Asian
traditional costumes
country
and food. They
separate.
like to perform circus acts. They love horses. They even have a summer festival in which everybody just kind of does their own cool thing. There's a ton of diamond mining out here, and Yakutsk, the capital, is like the second coldest major city in the world. Tatarstan, capital is Kazan, minority group, and about half
Kazan.
the population are
I was in
Tatars.
Kazan.
These guys are like
I
the
wasn't.
brothers of
beautiful
Bashkortostan.
city.
Now, out of all the secondary languages taught in Russia, Tatar is actually
Tatar.
one of the most prevalent. Basically, a long time ago, the Volga Bulgars mixed in with the Kipchak Turks, and then bam, the Tatars were born. Today, they're one of the most economically developed regions in all of Russia. Tons of oil here. They have these 3 UNESCO heritage sites. And yeah, the place is kind of like a mix between Orthodox and Muslim. And there's even an all
More
religions
Muslims, I
temple
think,
that
in
was built
Tatar.
here.
The most
Tuva,
Muslims.
capital, Kaisel, minority group, the
Tuva.
Tuvan people. And it's weird because
Wait,
people are
Tuva,
like an
it's Tuva.
offshoot
Tuva.
cousin
No,
of the
it
Mongols.
doesn't matter.
Even though
Okay,
they speak
okay.
the Turkic language. I mean, at one point they even were part of Mongolia. They have very similar traditions and customs to the Mongolian people. It's one of the few places where you can find steppe nomadic lifestyle traditions, just just like the Mongolians, they have their own version of throat singing, which sounds kind of eerie because it uses like 2 tones with your throat. And just like the Mongolians, there's a noticeable Buddhist majority. Yeah, it's like Buddhist Russians. Hi, Kalmykia. And finally, Udmurtia. Capital, Ijevsk, minority group at about 30%. The Udmurts, they are known as the Meadow people, and they have one of the highest concentrations of people with red hair in all of Russia. They even have a red hair festival. They have their own national epic called Dorjivny. They play it with lots of strings and wood instruments. Otherwise, remember on Flag/Fan Friday, that person visited this place and they sent me a bunch of stuff from Udmurtia, like this magnet. And I think you were from Finland, and you said like it was interesting because you could kind of understand what they were saying because they're kind of like your cousins. I don't know, I feel like a lot of Finnish and Estonian and maybe even Hungarian people might be interested in these areas because it's like they kind of technically are distant relatives of you guys. I don't know, if you're Finnish, Estonian, or Hungarian, what do you think about the people, the Ural people from these areas? Anyway, that's it. All the republics of the Russian Federation. As you can see, it's kind of interesting because it's like they each kind of have their own little story and they all kind of have their own little role that they played in the history of Russia. It's a really cool place. I would love to travel there and maybe blog about it.
Welcome.
And if you would like to blog about it or share your experiences, you might want to make a website. Great transition. Even idiot people like me can make websites with them. It's great stuff. And if you go to squarespace.com/geography now, you can get a 10% discount. Alright, well thank you guys for watching. I gotta work on the next country episode. I hope you have a good one. Stay cool, stay tuned.
Okay, why only republics? It was my question before we watched this video, why only republics in the title. I thought he will talk about all regions, oblasts, krais, I don't know how it is in English, maybe it's not translated, but
it's
only republics.
Impossible, I think, because it's a lot of...
maybe the second video and that's it?
Maybe it's very huge
We
country.
want this video! It's interesting,
Okay.
yes.
A lot of information, and I'm interested in how he can speak so fast and try
reaction
to
this channel is this question.
И еще один интересный вопрос. Почему он выбирает именно вот какие-то такие факты?
He cannot say about everything, and he
конечно. Но что-то main idea, какая-то главная идея, она не всегда, может быть, соответствует тому, что там, вот что-то такое раз, он интересно. Почему именно на этом он останавливается внимание? Мне интересно.
То, что самое важное, там, религия.
Нет, оно разное, всякое.
Разное, но самое такое, он выбирает изюминку, видимо.
Наверное. Но мне понравилось. I like it very much.
It was a lot of information, new information for us, because we know about these regions, we know that there are Muslims, Buddhists, but these republics, they are more different than every other regions, like oblasts. What can you say about Moscow oblasts like this? I don't know. Maybe he can do it, but republics are unique, really unique, and Yakutia, Chechen, Tatar, I don't know, Dagestan. It's like separate countries in one country, yes. Russia.
Right.
Even Crimea is here. Yay! Sorry, Ukrainians, but a very beautiful place, by the way. I was in Crimea, you can check it out. There are videos in Russian language, but some of them have subtitles, English subtitles. And you can visit Crimea, and it's a peaceful, beautiful place, and it's my favorite region of Russia. Sea, sun, animals in my favorite zone.
Animals, especially animals, I know.
And I have friends there, and there is
have
no
you ever
war,
seen
no
his film about Crimea, Taiga?
Crimea, okay. Not this. Okay, you can check it out. There are English subtitles, by the way. If you don't understand Russian, you can check it out too. We hope you enjoyed this reaction because we really enjoyed this video, and it was very interesting that there are a lot of surprise for us. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done this yet, put thumbs up, write comments, share this video with your friends please, and don't forget about this notification bell to get notifications from this channel. Goodbye. So, I'm Karachay-Cherkessia, filming Chelte.